Planet Man. This is the fascinating story of Dantro, the Planet Man, troubleshooter for the League of Planets organization, the law enforcement body for peace and justice in the celestial world, whose headquarters and center of operations are situated on the capital of all the planets, Planetaria Rex. From Mercury to Pluto, wherever danger threatens the universe, you will find Dantro, the Planet Man, fighting for fair play. In a moment, the Planet Man. When we left the crew of Earth's first rocket expedition, they were headed for a crash on the moon. We find Dr. Darrow, his daughter Pat, Slats, the engineer, and our two young stowaways, Billy and Jane, discussing their dangerous predicament. When we left the crew of Earth's first rocket expedition, they were headed for a crash on the moon. We find Dr. Darrow, his daughter Pax, Slats, the engineer, and our two young stowaways, Billy and Jane, discussing their dangerous predicament. The sound of the complicated control mechanism makes the control room seem like a chatterbox of confusion, and from the outside can be heard the mad whining of the lunar currents. We find them now as they are getting closer and closer to the moon's surface. Slats is speaking.
Our altimeter reading is dropping pretty fast, Professor.
Isn't there any way we can break our fall on the moon?
I've thought of everything, Pat, but there doesn't seem to be any answer. The extra power we lost on takeoff was our only hope.
Father, I know you don't like to do things second best, but in a situation like this, it might be necessary.
What do you mean, Pat?
Well, what about using our remaining power to go into an orbit around the moon, as we discussed in our original plan?
Yes, but what good would that do? We still come to the same end, except that the agony would be prolonged.
Let's do it, Professor. We've got nothing to lose.
Whatever it is, I'm game, Uncle John.
Me too, Uncle John.
You know what they say, Professor? Where there's life, there's hope.
It would be a ticklish maneuver now. Since we've gotten into the pool of the moon, our power is limited. But if the rest of you are game, so am I. Stand by to maneuver. Pat, start the reactor.
Yes, Father.
Slats, check the radar rangefinder and make sure you pinpoint those readings on the moon.
Yes, sir.
I'll pilot. Now keep your fingers crossed. Heading 10 degrees starboard.
Heading 10 degrees starboard.
Cut the reactor, Pat.
Cutting the reactor.
What's our reading?
It's 63.3. We need a bit more, Professor.
Hit it again, Pat.
Reactor on.
Oh, picking it up fast enough. Slats, what's the reading?
Not enough, Professor. We need a fraction more.
Are you sure? Slats, I've got our heading way over, and our power can't last much longer with such a radical course heading. Slats, give me a reading. Slats, do you hear me? Give me a reading.
It's 89.4. 6 more points, Professor.
That's the end of our power. I hope we make it.
Steady. Steady. Just a bit more, old Ironsides. There. There. Well, we made it. We made it, Professor.
Oh, we made it.
Good.
What adventures lie ahead for the Earth people? What will they find on Planetaria Rex? Whose ships are those approaching the helpless Constitution? We'll be back in just a moment. But first, here is a message that Dantro, the Planet Man, wants you to hear. You've just had a hard day's work. Or maybe you're playing some footy with your son. You might be winning too. But either way, you've built yourself a thirst. And to quench that thirst, there's nothing like a cold Victorian bitter. Victoria Bitter, the breakfast of champions. Tune in again for more transcribed thrills and adventures. Find out what happens to the Earth people as they speed toward a new world on Planetaria Rex. Rocket millions of light years into space with Dantro, the Planet Man. The Planet Man.